Good evening, everybody. I believe that we are now live. Hello, and welcome to our winter solstice one-shot extravaganza. I'm Pete, your DM for this evening, and happy solstice, everybody. I'm very excited to get into the thick of this winter solstice adventure. This is going to be the last thing that we do for the year. Hello, Farku. Hello, Maddie Morgs. I see you guys hanging out. Hello to all lurking in the shadows as well. So this is probably going to be, as it always is, the last thing that we do for the year is our winter solstice one-shot. And we have an abbreviated cast this evening, but I think it's going to work to our advantage. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. We got some goofy stuff planned for the night. But with me, their names do not appear here on the screen, but you would likely recognize them from D&D Time Delves or from Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time. You know them as Uchonkus. I have Crowley and James with me tonight. Hello, boys.
Hi.
Hello. They don't know me as Uchonkus.
Yeah, they know me as
Crowley. Did I say they know James as Uchonkus?
Well, you
said
said
they
you
know
know
both
him
of
as
us as
Uchonkus, Crowley and James. I'm like, wait, hold on.
Well, you don't. You know Crowley as Uchonkus. You know James as a number of other characters from D&D Time Delves and
D&D Time Tales.
And D&D Time Tales. Perhaps you know him as Spec Speechly. Perhaps you know him as a peddler of Franks.
Perhaps you know me as hot dog salesman extraordinaire.
Schnurbles.
Schnurbles.
Is it too late to get a Schnurble, James, for the year?
So, this year, Carl is pushing it to the limit. As long as people show up when he's there, he's gonna keep opening on days where it's above freezing.
You heard it
On
here
the
first,
days-
folks.
Has
Go
it
to Fred's
been
below
Franks
freezing,
so you don't
he
ruin it
doesn't
for
open.
everyone.
Has it been above freezing the last few weeks?
So today it was sunny and 34.
Oh. Not down here. Not in the South Shore.
Yeah, I did not feel any of that cold, warm weather that you were experiencing, but
I mean, it was 34 like at 2 o'clock and then got cold again.
you're saying it was very tropical.
Yeah.
Heat wave.
Anyway, tonight's our winter solstice one shot. I think I'm pretty much ready to get right into it. Quick announcements. As I was saying, this is the last thing that we're going to do for the year. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but it's going to be after New Year's, and we'll have a whole schedule posted for you. The first thing back might be D&D time on January 10th. Might be the next thing that you see us. So gear up for Pete and Jeremy's D&D time to come back in the new year with a bunch of new stuff that we have planned, as always, and also just back on a regular schedule starting on January 10th, tentatively. I don't want to say that 100%, but I think that's when we're coming back.
Well, Jeremy's back here for a week.
Yeah, but I think that it doesn't conflict with that.
Okay.
I think he's here during the time. I'm pretty sure that the 10th is right, but again, if it turns out that it's not, I'm sorry that I misled you here. So, without further ado, I would like to just get into the thick of our solstice adventure here tonight, as we join Crungus-Cringus, the solstice Ettin, on his wintry quest.
Yes.
Hi.
So, allow me to set the scene a bit here. Where our adventure truly begins. As the giants' legends are told, when the world was still young, Anam the Allfather, progenitor of the Giant King, ruled fairly. He believed in philosophy, in learning, in reason, and in love. But his son Thrym, a giant of frost and cold, did not. And so, his son came to his father and told him that his love was weakness, and said that the leader of giant kind should be determined by their might. And he challenged his father to a stone-throwing contest for the right to lead their kind. When the match was arranged, Thrym threw his stone impossibly far, from the peak of the highest mountain to the farthest plain. Witnessing his throw, however, his father Anam stood and cajoled him. He spoke, "What you do not understand, my son, is that to learn and to love is strength." And with a mighty heave, he threw his rock beyond the known world, into the horizon, and then further still. As it traveled, it seemed to only continue to spin faster and faster, as it tumbled infinitely forward through the great heavens. His other children looked on and knew that their father was the greatest among the giant kind. This day was the winter solstice, and it is still said that on 1 in every 50 winter solstices, you can still see Anam's comet pass overhead, ever flying above and through the cold winter sky. Crungus-Cringus, and who I will henceforth refer to you with a royal U.
Yes.
Aye.
The mountain on which you live is cold, and it very frequently, almost always, is kind of coated in blizzards and snow. But today, as you know, is a 1 in 50-year winter solstice. Of course, you already love the solstice season. You are the Solstice Ettin, but this one is particularly special. And it was 50 years ago when you attempted to see the comet. You were, well, unfortunately you didn't get the opportunity to see it. And this may be the last Anam's solstice comet that you will see in your lifetime. And so as we truly begin, you are trekking your way down the mountain that is your home, down towards a ground level where you can get out away from the clouds that kind of are in fog and kind of cover up this part of the mountain, get some distance, and get a view of the night sky to see this incredible natural phenomenon that is said to be, well, one of the greatest solstice miracles in giant lore.
Hey, Crungus, you told me last time that we'd be able to see it if we went down the mountain, and we went down the mountain, and then we didn't see it.
Well, I was wrong, Crungus. I was wrong. My calculations were off.
Oh, calculation.
And as you guys are discussing this, would you care to tell me, what does Crungus-Cringus look like? What do you look like? Collectively, I think you guys might have to talk about this now.
Interesting. Yes.
But
where's the picture of the Ettin?
It's on the stream there. For starters, if you could describe the Ettin and what you are.
So, an Ettin is a type of giant that has 2 heads. He doesn't fall into any of the main branches of giant, right? You know, hill, stone, ice, fire, cloud, storm. He's technically, but still giantkin. Big, burly, and most important feature of the Ettin is the 2 heads.
Indeed. And the 2 heads are not necessarily aligned in personality or intellect or knowledge. So which head are you playing, James?
I'm playing Crungus.
And tell me a little bit about Crungus.
Crungus is a very simple fellow. He likes animals. He loves the winter solstice. He's sad to see the birds leave, but when they come back in the spring, that's the best part. Reindeer are also very nice. I love petting their fuzzy antlers. When they're fuzzy, that's the best. And then sometimes Crungus gets a little angry. He's working on it.
Everyone's got room to improve, don't they? I mean, Crungus wasn't built in a day.
I don't know how many days it took to build Crungus.
What?
And actually, Pete, I will have to say, Crungus was built in a day.
I mean, that's fair. I was saying more like the Crungus in the grand scheme of... Actually, wait. Was Crungus built in... Was Crungus basically all that Crungus is determined in, like, the first day of his life?
Crungus has... so Crungus is also a wild soul barbarian, right?
Yes.
So every once in a while, there'll be magical stuff happening around Crungus when he gets angry, and that just kind of makes him more mad because he gets more confused.
And I guess my next question is, you're his brother. How would you say that you are? What is the familiar relationship between Crungus and Cringus? Are you brother, or you're just
brothers,
or you just Crungus and Cringus one being?
I'm pretty sure we share a mom.
Yeah,
well, you definitely do that.
Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just didn't know how you thought of each other.
I
If
mean,
it was
and
just yourself.
Basically, a conjoined twin.
Okay, so you think of yourselves as brothers.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
me,
Okay.
and we have one body.
Yeah.
So Cringus, tell me a little bit about you, Cringus.
Cringus, I think he's got the like elaborate braids, but they're much more I imagine well kept than Crungus is.
Crungus is
And
more
of course-
unruly.
Yeah, the braids nearer to Cringus on Crungus's head are also slightly better kept than the other side of Cringus. I think Crungus is the left head, and Crungus is the right head.
Okay.
I have some elaborate, much more elaborate and like intricately designed face paint and random paint like symbols on my body that are solstice-y themed, like snowflakes.
Of course.
And while Crungus's might be rather simple, Crungus's
Just like
are...
one
He's
big-
got his favorite twigs. In
One
there.
big triangle that Crungus was like, Christmas tree.
Yeah, and Crungus's is like, a much more elaborate
A
Christmas
tapestry.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
what are you guys
mine
wearing?
Is the 3 intersecting lines, and
Snowflake.
Are you guys wearing armor collectively, or are you,
No armor.
Just a nice pelt.
Yeah, nice pelts, loincloth of some, maybe pants.
Ooh.
You put on the pants. I don't want to put them on.
I have that. We're wearing half a pant.
And you guys just kind of like take turns deciding who works well. I mean, I think each of you have an arm, right, that you're completely attached to and that you particularly control.
Yeah, I'm the left arm.
Okay, yeah, so you're of
I'm
course the
the
left
right.
arm. It'd be
We
weird
really
if-
could have screwed this up and said the opposite.
I would have loved it if you'd said that you were the left head but right arm and vice versa. But so you're the left arm and Crungus is the right arm. And so you guys are out, and are you just no shirt? You're just toughing out this cold, this winter cold?
well, you got the pelt over the shoulders, right?
Yeah, we've got like a cape almost.
But we're
Cloak.
giants. What do we care about the cold? It's solstice time.
Yeah, we're the Solstice Ettin. We like the cold.
Indeed. In that case, the Solstice Ettin, relishing in the kind of winter winds, and I imagine, are you guys, like, particularly excited? I mean, this is a big night for you.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
really want to see it this time, Crungus.
We'll see it, Crungus. Don't worry.
So you are walking down the mountain. There aren't clear paths up here. There are other giants. This mountain range and the kind of surrounding territory is fairly full of giants. There are all the environments that you need. Frost giants live up in the high caves here. The hill giants on, well, the lower hills. Mountain giants kind of are within the same mountains that the frost giants reside. There's clouds up above that are dense and thick enough. And of course the massive storm giants ever kind of ruling from above. But, of course, when there are so many giants together, giant kings such as you, the Ettin, pop up from here and there. But, like I said, the infrastructure as you're heading down closer to more human and small folk civilization, there aren't true paths. And as you're wandering through the woods here, What is your passive perception? And these, your mental... If I ask you, like, your AC is collective, but your passive perception is...
Different.
Is discrete. So what are both of your passive perceptions?
Oh, are we... Hold on, are we proficient in any skills?
Oh, yeah, you got skills from your class.
Right.
That's why you didn't... Because you didn't get, like, race skills. You also could have taken backgrounds, if you wanted. So, if you guys want to just grab yourself some skills real quick.
The standard Outlander skills, right?
Is that you're, like... I think you guys get a background together. So I think animal handling survival makes sense for you guys to just have.
Sure.
And then you each get a couple class skills.
I just gave myself athletics, and I wasn't sure what to choose for the second barbarian one. Intimidation.
That makes
There we
sense. I would be intimidated by Crungus-Cringus.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick perception. I don't even know what's one option for me, but I'm gonna take it anyway.
Fair
My
enough.
passive perception is 12. Crungus has a 14 wisdom.
Oh, hey, you know, so does Cringus.
But has proficiency.
Yeah, so mine's 15.
Alright, so as you're wandering your way down the mountainside here, Cringus, you're beginning to notice your head on a swivel. Crungus currently is just kind of working the legs and getting you down right now. He's doing the brute.
1, 2, 1, 2.
He's doing most of the work right now, so your head's free to kind of look around and observe.
Yeah.
And you see, darting amongst the trees, it's late. The moonlight, it's a full moon tonight, and it's casting like a dim light over the area, so you're able to see barely, but you're catching on the outskirts, flitting between trees, small animals kind of running back and forth. They look like wolves, and they're circling, and there seems to be a pretty fair number of them that are starting to gather. They're not entirely uncommon on these mountains. Wolf packs hunt in fairly large numbers here, but it's generally on the rarer side that they would go after such large game as you. But they are kind of encircling.
Alright, Crungus, we've got some wolves coming in.
Oh,
Strange.
puppies? I love them.
Yes, Crungus puppies. Now,
Doggy.
you know how much you love to really pet those puppies. So hard that they lie down for a while, right?
They get really tired.
Yes, we should make the puppies tired, Crungus.
Okay.
And as you kind of call out that first puppies, you begin to hear kind of a low growling coming from the woods, and a couple start to step out amongst the trees a little bit further into vision, and you see one wolf. 2, a larger one, what looks like a dire wolf, begins to kind of step into the fray. And it's a pretty large pack, and you see a second dire wolf step. And this is something that is very rare for hunting packs. Usually you'll get one kind of alpha among them, but there are 2. And then you hear a particularly deep growl, and you know instantly why these 2 direwolves were able to be united, as you see an exceptionally large wolf of snow-white fur kind of emerge and begin to growl.
Oh, Cringus, can I keep him?
If he doesn't get too tired, I
He's
suppose.
so big. Oh,
I would like you to roll for initiative.
I love it.
We share initiative? Yeah?
You guys
Or...
roll initiative independently. So the way this is gonna go, you guys both... you both have a turn. Your movement, you can divide up however you wish amongst your 2 turns. Is that going through?
I have a higher move speed because I'm a barbarian. So
Okay.
So my move speed.
Your move speed is
40.
your collective move speed, I think.
All right.
In that case, your move got to buff everything. Like your stuff buffs both of you a lot more than Cringus is just like, your rage, you both get
Oh,
that
I
damage
don't know
resistance.
about that.
I mean, well, I guess we'll have to see.
We'll just find out.
I don't know about you and what you guys did. I gave you the keys to the kingdom on this one, so I don't know how
Now, hold
busted.
on.
I don't know how busted you are.
Ettin is normally a 40-foot speed, so do we have a 50-foot speed?
Oh. Yeah.
Yep, that would be the case.
Alright.
You guys are a quick Ettin. So, and you can divvy up that on your turns however you want. It might be worthwhile to, like, save some movement for the next guy sometime. And the Winter Wolf would not go onto the tracker for me. Oh, there it goes. And what were your initiatives?
9.
14.
Ooh. All right. So in that case, the first to act, as kind of things begin to heat up here, you see a couple of these dire wolves begin growling. The Winter Wolf lets out kind of a long howl, and the two dire wolves suddenly pounce, working in tandem, almost like they have pack tactics, and. And they are going to attack you guys with advantage. That is
Miss.
The first one is a miss at an 8, and then the second one I assume is a hit at a 20.
Yes.
And could you guys make me a strength saving throw? I will let either of you make the strength saving throw that wishes to do so.
Oh, he's a feisty one.
I suppose that should be you, Crumb.
So yeah, the two wolves kind of jump and pounce on them. One of them just kind of batted away, and the next one, as you say, he's a feisty one. He kind of just like is clawed onto your arm, I imagine, right now, Crungus, and is just kind of hanging loosely off as we move to 14. Who had the 14?
That was me.
All right.
No fighting.
Go ahead. What would you like to do? There are 4 of the kind of smaller wolves, 2 of the dire wolves, and then the winter wolf.
Okay, and where are they positioned around us? Just all around us?
They're just kind of encircling you right now. The wolves are still kind of in the trees, the winter wolf's a bit away, and the dire wolves are on either side of you.
Okay, and how far away, approximately?
They are... the wolves are only about, like, 20 feet out from you. The winter wolf... The wolves that are encircling are about 20 feet out from you in, like, a radius. Kind of dotted along it.
And where's the winter wolf?
In that radius.
Okay. Alright, well, I am going to fireball directly on top of us.
Hitting you and everyone?
Yeah, but it won't hurt us, because I'm gonna sculpt spells, because...
Oh, damn! That's sick!
So let's get that going. Oh!
Oof!
That's a spicy fireball.
Alright, well...
Oh, hey, the dire wolves made it.
One of the dire wolves... Oh, yeah, I should just roll. No, I'll roll for them both separately. So one of the dire wolves fails and one of them succeeds. The winter wolf is going to... fail, and then... excuse me. All of the wolves just die. As this fire just kind of radiates out from around you. Crungus, there's an incredible just... rush of heat and warmth, and suddenly some extremely bright lights, and you hear a bunch of the puppies kind of go, as all of the smaller wolves are consumed by flames. The dire wolves are like terribly singed. The one that was kind of like hanging onto your arm has like let go.
They're ruining their fur. How will they survive the winter?
What was your?
Oh, you'll be fine. It'll regrow, Crungus. It'll regrow.
What was your initiative, Crungus?
9.
9. All right. It would be the wolves' turn, but those are all dead. So that's gonna bring us next to you.
So there's one that's like latched onto my arm right now.
It kind of let go when it got hit by a giant fireball.
Oh, still no biting. Whack.
Go ahead and roll damage on that. Oh no. what sounds like not that mighty of a swing, it sounds like a pretty light swing. You just bring down and just batter onto one of these dire wolves. It takes 16 points of bludgeoning damage. And since this was the one that failed its dex saving throw, that dire wolf also falls asleep. Wait, actually, is it? Yep, that dire wolf also falls asleep.
And then the one that tried to hit me say naughty, naughty, and extra attack. Oh, I miss.
You kind of swing down, your mace kind of slams into the ground. The dire wolf kind of jumps a little bit over to the left. Its pack is near devastated and it's in rough shape, but this dog also looks ragged and pretty well starved and is still kind of looking to get into the fight. The winter wolf here kind of lets out another kind of mournful howl as it charges forward and pants, and is going to unleash its cold breath upon you. I need you guys to make me a dexterity saving throw. Which one of you would like to make that?
I have advantage.
Ah!
Alright.
Your primal instincts. Unfortunately, that is not going to quite do it, as you are going to suffer... Let me do that again. Ooh, rough roll for him. 11 points of cold damage.
5 points of cold damage.
As you kind of see this cold frost come out, you brace yourself. Crungus, as it goes to impact and frost over and kind of cover a bit of your form. But you manage to kind of like hold on to yourself. You see kind of the guiding light of your ever-watchful brother seem to do something. You've seen him do it before. It makes it hurt less. You don't know. And this wolf
For the record, my focus, our crystals tied into my beard.
That is really good. And as he kind of lets out this breath weapon, you see some more kind of wolves begin to kind of crop up. The smaller ones kind of crop up on the edge of the kind of forest on the outskirts here, as 2 more wolves kind of show up into the battle. That's going to bring us next in the initiative to the top, which was, I believe, the dire wolves. Actually, you guys have a legendary action you haven't used yet.
Oh.
Why don't you use this one?
And for people watching at home, I gave them a legendary action. They're obviously more powerful than I thought, and this was a mistake.
I'm hitting it. Whack.
On the dire wolf or the winter wolf? Actually, the winter wolf is a little step
Dire
back
wolf.
from you, so...
Yeah.
It smacks on the dire wolf. It kind of whimpers and collapses a bit, but it's still holding on. And that's a legendary action. Now it's that dire wolf's turn, and it's going to jump up and try and bite at you. That's a 19.
That hits.
Yep.
You take 9 points of piercing damage as its teeth kind of sink in. And I need you to make another strength saving throw. Please. Yeah. You once again hold on, and another one has clenched its teeth into you. These wolves just aren't learning, Crungus. As we move next in initiative to... It is you once again, Cringus.
Alright, I will... I'm gonna cast... All weapons get an additional d6, right? Or an additional damage die? Correct?
Yep.
Great, I cast Shadow Blade.
Oh dear.
Okay, so I will...
Oh no. Oh dear.
I guess I should just...
Wait, was that a hit?
Yeah, just
No,
just,
it's a little weird, so let's... And sorry, hold on.
Can you just print the spell card there?
I'm making it a weapon on its own.
Oh, okay.
Alright. 23 to hit.
23 is gonna hit this direwolf.
18 damage.
I'm sorry, which I don't remember which direwolf I was talking about, because that one is its mind is shattered. You just see the kind of dark blade pass through Crungus, this direwolf, and it falls asleep. as we move next in initiative to the wolf pack. 2 wolves have now appeared, and they are going to strike out with advantage. If I can find their sheet. I put it away because they all were dead, but now there's 2 more. And they're going to run up and also make bite attacks as they kind of encircle you. More seem to be roaming around in the woods. So that's a 23 to hit, and then an 8. I assume the 23 hits and the 8 misses?
Yep.
Another 8 piercing damage. Wow, and another strength saving throw for what that's worth.
No.
And keep in mind that you now have your legendary action. Crungus is now available to you because you've taken your turn.
Yes. I'd actually like to use it. Are the wolves next to each other?
Those 2 wolves, yeah, they're now all kind of they're now surrounding you. The winter wolf is a couple steps back, but those 2 are on either side of you, as they're
Either side of
using
us.
using surrounding
any of them
tactics.
within 5 feet of another one.
Yeah, I think you can. I think
Right.
you could do that.
I will use a cantrip then. That cantrip is booming blade. Or no, sorry, green flame blade.
All right.
So shadow blade to hit.
That's gonna work.
All right, I think one of them's
Well,
dead.
you
and
kill a
then,
wolf, and then something happens.
The other one takes 1d8 plus my intelligence modifier.
And we'll trigger, since you guys have different turns, but you're sharing this legendary action, we'll say that triggers from now on at the top of the round, it resets.
Sure.
That's, I think, the fairest way to do it. Alright, so, you deal
Well,
5 points of damage to a wolf. That actually is not enough to finish off a wolf.
right.
Anything else on your turn?
I'm gonna hit this button just to see what if it actually works. It doesn't. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm done.
Alright, the winter wolf is going to roll to recharge. And it does! And it's going to, in that case, that's really good for him. He's going to unleash his cold breath. Would one of you like to make a dexterity saving throw?
11.
Ooh,
Oh.
that's a good roll.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just
Doing it again?
do it again.
Alright. This winter wolf is actually still untouched as well. And whenever it does his cold breath, another wolf shows up. A wolf kind of appears from the woods and joins the fray, now also encircling. As we go to the top of the initiative, legendary action.
Wait.
Oh wait, I'm sorry,
Wait.
Did you get skipped?
Crungus hasn't gone yet.
You got skipped, Crungus, I'm so sorry.
Oh, everybody forgets Crungus. But it's too cold. It's already cold enough.
Crungus enters a rage.
Oh, jeez.
Means wild surge. Look at this wall of text.
Roll a d8.
So
This music
a
feels so
5.
right for this.
What is a 5? Plant life temporarily grows around you until your rage ends. The ground within 10 feet of you is difficult terrain.
Ooh, that actually will probably prevent a wolf from getting to you. Since they're on the
So you see
outskirts
little
of
sprigs of holly and tiny pine trees start to form around Crungus.
I love it.
And he's gonna run right at the winter wolf, ignoring the small wolf.
Alright.
Smack. 15?
That will provoke an opportunity attack from that small wolf, which I assume is cool. It's not an advantage.
Yeah.
It's a 15.
15 still hits.
Ooh, wow, that's a lot of... Oh, that was the winter wolf. Wrong attack. Hold on a second. I was like, wow, that's a lot of damage for a wolf. 12.
Misses.
Ah.
10 damage is a lot of damage.
That's
Jesus.
the max damage for a wolf, but he missed. So 15 is going to strike the winter wolf. Roll that damage.
Yeah.
Oof.
And then a second one.
Yep, that's gonna. Oh, yep, that's gonna hit. Both of those are gonna hit. 2 swift swipes with your rage mace. And with
Do we
yes.
have the same Constitution saving throw? Like he has proficiency in it. Does that give me proficiency in it or no?
one of you, when you're doing a physical save, one of you gets to pick. You get to pick who makes the save. When you're doing a mental save, you both make the save, and if either of you succeed, you succeed for both of you.
What about a concentration check?
That would be entirely on you.
Entirely on. Okay. So I gotta concentrate. All right, we're good.
These are, of course, I'm doing only rules as written for piloting in Ettin. In that case, that's all for your turn, I assume?
Yes.
Alright, that's going to bring us around to the top of the round, which is the die rolls, which are both dead. And legendary action is back in play, and that's going to bring us to... and it's your legendary action this time, Crungus-Cringus.
Alright, so there's no more living wolves other than the winter wolf right now, right?
There's the winter wolf, there's a wolf that's encircling, and then there's a wolf that is close.
Yeah, because there's the one that you hit with the green flame blade,
But it didn't
dies.
quite finish it off, yeah. So it's mostly the winter wolf here.
And the winter wolf isn't close enough for me to hit? What's our reach? Do we have a 10-foot reach?
I don't know, I think so. Seems like you would, wouldn't it? Look on the Ettin.
Yeah.
I gave you the Ettin for reference on stuff like that.
Yeah. We
you
know we
do
have
not.
5-foot reach.
Regular
Okay.
reach.
Alright, well, I will try and kill the... I'll position us to try and hit the winter wolf.
Alright, you are already in that position. You walked out before,
Okay.
so you're good.
Oh, okay.
Just go ahead and swing away.
Or
do whatever you're gonna do.
Yep, I'm going to make a Shadow Blade attack,
Nice.
except it's also a Booming Blade attack. So, yeah. I don't have the Booming Blade set up yet, but 14? Does a 14 hit the winter?
14 barely hits.
22, and then I believe I do an additional D8. Or is it 2D8 now?
No, you only get one extra.
No, it's a D8.
Giant
It's a
size
D8.
D8. Oh, okay. So 22 points of
D8
psychic
thunder
damage.
damage. Yep. And 1 thunder damage. And if the Winter Wolf moves, it will take 2d8 thunder damage.
The Winter Wolf, the Winter Wolf is pretty beat up here, and you see it kind of its under its kind of breath. You actually hear it speak, and it goes, "Lesser giant kin," in the language of giant. In giant, it says to you guys as it's kind of coughing through its breath.
Hey, don't be rude.
And
Cringus, I don't want him as a pet. He's a rude one. I was hoping he'd be nice.
And that brings us to the wolves, regular wolf. The one runs up but can't attack because it gets caught in holly and stuff as it's moving forward, and uses its whole turn to move as it's going over your Christmas pines and chaos. But the other one is going to bite you with pack tactics. Man, these damage rolls on these regular... Oh, that's the winter wolf again. Well, it'll bite you with its pack tactics. That's a 12 to hit, which misses.
Misses, yes.
The wolf goes to clamp onto you, but your hide is too thick. And by that I mean just your skin. Legendary. Can I interest you in a legendary action?
You may. I was just about to say it.
Oh, wonderful.
Legendary action.
Get down!
And I'm going to smack the wolf that just tried to bite me.
That's gonna hit for 16 damage. So the winter wolf is kind of gearing back and goes, "Lesser giant kin," and it kind of runs. It kind of begins kind of like running forward and jumping up towards you. Bring back your mace, suddenly kind of moving in a quick moment of instinct. And as you're about to bring it down upon this wolf, the camera cuts away.
Sorry, the Winter Wolf moved?
This is all flavor. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
The camera cuts away to a winter solstice 50 years prior, where Crungus-Cringus were attempting to go down the mountain and see the sun's comet. But you were a much younger and a much less powerful Ettin than you are today. In those 50 years, you've certainly grown, but how old are you in this moment? This would be a young age for an Ettin, but how old would you say you are in this moment? You guys can pick.
That's a good
So
question.
you are now 50 years older than whatever you pick here. But I assume giants live for a while.
Yeah, I mean, giants do live for quite a while. So, probably 200?
200, yes, of a very young giant. You have not known much of the world yet, but you're kind of working your way down. These last 50 years have been a lot of training, a lot of personal growth, but we see you towards the bottom of the mountain. To get here was an arduous path, the same one that you're now walking, and you have sustained some pretty heavy wounds. You're very, injured, and you're just kind of, dragging yourself down towards the bottom of the mountain. And eventually your legs give out, and you've kind of nearly collapsed. And you've nearly collapsed on the outskirts of a town that you don't know by the name of, but you know that the town is there, the human town, known as Northwatch. And you see, kind of walking out of it, now you can see kind of guards moving past. As you're looking up above, you can see finally you're at a point where the sky has gotten clear enough that you can see past it and up towards the star above, and thank God, because you're almost completely out of commission. But, like I said, you're almost completely out of commission. And you're kind of dragging yourself in the woods on the outskirt of where this village is, as this is where kind of the natural decline of the mountain sort of leads. And you guys are currently sort of bleeding out. What do you guys do in this moment?
This is the past.
This is the past. What happened at this time? I told you we're gonna get into some real funky shit.
We'll see it, Crungus. Just keep looking up.
I'm getting real sleepy. I can't keep my eyes open.
No, don't sleep like the wolves.
And as you are kind of having this conversation, you hear a small yelp. Ah! And kind of poking out from behind a tree, who's suddenly kind of frozen like a deer in the headlights, you see a very small human child. A young boy. He looks to be maybe 4 or maybe 5 years old. I mean, for a giant, you assume that all kind of humans are children. It's tough to tell, but from your human eye as a player, you would see maybe 4 or 5 years old. And then kind of stepping out behind him, another individual, a little girl, kind of walks up, perhaps the sister, and they're both kind of looking at you, stunned and scared. The girl kind of whispers, "It's one of the giants. You should get the hunters." And the boy kind of speaks up, "No. Wait. It looks hurt." And they kind of take a couple of steps towards you, looking over at you.
I guess I'm not exactly alright. You know, there's a comet coming. It's gonna be very, very cool.
You mean the Solstice star, the elder of the... and the boys kind of...
Nam's Rock.
And the boy's kind of looking over, very scared and kind of getting ready to hesitantly leave. And the girl kind of goes, You don't seem that mean."
No, Crungus is the main one.
I'm the mean one.
And she kind of scared, gets a little bit nervous and takes a step back.
Hey, kid. Oh, human. Tiny human. Get me herbs and medicinal herbs and we'll kill whoever you want.
Cringus, not whoever.
I don't want anyone killed. And they're getting a little bit nervous.
And we won't kill anyone.
Go ahead and make an intimidation check with advantage because you're a giant.
Alright. Oh, 14.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the 20. I was like, 20 sounds about right. But 14, it's a child. She kind of like nods and goes, okay, we have the stuff our grandma uses, and she kind of like runs away and into the village, and the boy kind of like lingers there for a moment, and goes, if we're gonna help you, you have to promise you won't hurt anyone. Not.
Yeah.
He kind of looks at you, Crungus, and then at Crungus. Not him. He looks at Crungus. You. Don't hurt anyone.
Oh, don't worry.
And my right arm grabs my left arm, or grabs Cringus's arm, rather.
I got him.
And he kind of like giggles a little bit, and then catches himself like, no, I need to be on guard right here. And a couple moments pass. You're feeling a bit woozy, but the kind of like the conversation and the focus is keeping you kind of present in the moment as you're drifting in and out. And the girl comes back not too long later with some herbs, and begins to, I'm gonna try and cover it up, so okay? And just kind of like hesitantly starts moving towards you.
Yeah, fine.
And she goes over and starts to kind of work on the wounds, and she's very young. She's not entirely sure what she's doing, but you're a bit out of commission. You help her get some of the bandaging. It looks like she just brought like a bed sheet for bandaging, that you kind of tie up and help maneuver around your legs. But she's doing a reasonably competent job, while this boy is kind of like waiting with you. And the boy goes, "Can we watch the Solstice star with you, or what did you say? The rock?"
It's an arms rock. He threw it, and it's still flying.
Can we watch it with you? We wanted to see it too. We were getting away from the lights of the town there. And you can hear like songs being sung, and there's obviously like partying happening at the town here, as people are pretty excited about the winter solstice. It's just a festival time for most races. But they want to step away from the lights to see it better. So yeah, the boy asks you that. What do you say?
You can watch it with us.
Hey, Cringus, let's find a place to lie down and look up.
And you guys lie down and you look up and go to watch. You're waiting. It comes at high midnight, or opposite of high noon, as you guys... I don't know what your term for midnight is as giants, or if you pass time in that way. That's up to y'all.
High moon.
You got me. High moon it is.
It's high moon.
And it's getting closer and closer to high moon. And you're sitting there with these two children. They introduce themselves. They say their names are Johann and Isla. And as you guys are passing some time with these kids, eventually you hear a voice, Johann! Isla! And the boy kind of steps away and kind of nervously looks back at you and then towards the direction of the voice. And you see a human man walk into the area. They're kind of burly. They're holding what looks like, a woodcutter's axe. And they seem to be, just out looking for their children who are kind of out in the woods tonight. And this man sees the kids and sees you and kind of calls out, "You two, get away from that thing! Guard!" And he kind of like screams out towards and runs forward to kind of grab the girl away from you. The boy kind of steps back now, seeing his father's authority there. What do you guys do in this moment?
I guess we get up.
Yeah, well, I guess it's time to leave.
The time, the kind of passing time, is something of a short rest. Something of a short rest for you, and you feel like a little bit able to stand on your own two legs a little bit, but you're still wobbly. And over the kind of voices of the guard behind you, you can hear people calling out, like, "Call the giant hunters! The hunters!" And the guards kind of rallying. You begin to hear, like, a town bell go off as guard alarms start ringing. And then, as you start turning to walk away, the first arrow flies towards you over the kind of ramparts of the town. What do you do? Do you run? Do you battle? What do you do?
I'd probably say run.
Yeah.
I got the legs. I'm running.
And as you begin to run, I would like you to make me a athletics check. Just for each of you, make me a check to basically justify how you're going to get away. This is kind of like a mini skill challenge here, which will have some bearings on some
Are we
stuff.
both doing athletics, or are we
both
doing...
do a check of your choice.
Alright.
And tell me how you would use it in the situation. Okay, so you're kind of like finding the path and using your survival skills to like look around and find the quickest route, and then your raw power with the athletics at 22. So that's 2 successes. All right, so you get away without anyone kind of catching up to you as you're beginning to run away. But as you do so, you kind of hear the voice of the kid. I'm sorry, and the girl kind of calls out, I'm sorry. Let's watch the next one together! And you run up the mountain. And as we come back in and we see you kind of going to some very great lengths, the rest of the night was a terrible chase as human hunters were kind of pursuing you upwards, but they never were able to kind of catch up with you as you knew the terrain too well. But as you are walking back down now, you think of 2 small humans that have promised to view, well, this once in a lifetime for them, maybe a few times in a lifetime for you event, together. And as we come back into the moment, and you are braving all of the danger on the route down here, I believe I would like you, Crungus, to describe your killing blow on this winter wolf. It kind of jumps at you, and it's kind of in midair, and just speaks up. Low-ordering scum. The wolf kind of calls out, having a degree of sentience, which you didn't initially notice in it. What do you do?
Meanie.
And as he's coming up, I'm just taking my mace and swinging it into the side of his jaw. Just a very solid thwack. You know, that probably caves in part of its face a bit. He's already been weakened by several other blows, and this time around it just kind of
as the winter wolf dies, it's knocked to the side, and it falls over, and is now slain.
And then thunderously explodes.
And then, like, cool guys don't look at explosions as you have finished off this winter wolf before the flashback. You guys take a couple steps away, and then the booming blade, kind of late reaction, explodes, and the remaining wolves, which were kind of dancing around in the woods on either side of you, all kind of howl and scatter to the 4 winds as you step confidently down the mountainside. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna pick some of these herbs that were growing around me real quick, and I'm gonna start. Cringus, help me! I need a second hand to make a wreath.
Alright, Crungus. Alright, I'll help you. I summon a mage hand to help Crungus.
I can't see what the other hand's doing.
Oh, you can. Mine's not invisible.
And you look over, and it's just very small. You just didn't see it behind the wreath.
Oh.
And you can get into the more intricate work that my big meaty hand can.
I mean, the
You're
wolves are
always so
just
smart,
sleeping,
Crungus.
but they might not miss some of the parts that they have on them if you're looking to, look for some ornaments and accents for your wreath.
Grizzly.
Oh, put some teeth in it.
Yeah, I say
That'll
a
look
couple
nice.
incisors. I wasn't saying, like, rip off a wolf leg and, like, stick it on the reef. I was thinking teeth and claws.
That's what I was picturing.
No, that's monstrous.
We are technically monsters.
That's true. You guys are you guys monstrosities, or are you guys a monstrosity or a
Giants.
giant?
Well, we are giants,
Okay,
not
cool.
monstrosities. But, hey, we're in the monster manual.
Alright. You make a wreath. Go ahead and make me, just make me any... This would be intelligence or dexterity or wisdom, but you definitely have proficiency in solstice-related activities, so I'll give you your proficiency bonus as well.
I'm just gonna say it's survival.
That works.
And also, it's solstice time. I'm making a
Oh, you
I
got
was
I
just
already rolled it.
remembering them kids that we saw. You remember? We were bleeding, and it was real scary, and then the bigger human, he got all the other humans to shoot at us with arrows. That's why we missed Solstice last year. I forgot.
Oh, I remember, Crungus. I remember. So it was only 50 years ago.
It's a long time.
How long does it take for humans to grow? They were pretty small.
Yeah, they might be as big as us now.
The humans? I don't think humans get as big as us, Crungus.
Oh, you're right. They could be as big as big humans.
That sounds about right, Crungus.
And with that, you've made
What
yourself a very beautiful, wreath. You found some nice herbs and berries, a couple of little ornaments of the larger incisors, and you just
I've
hold
been
on to that for
steering the
now.
legs while Crungus has been making his wreath.
Oh yes, of course, you've been managing the body as you guys walk down the mountain, and the area that you're coming into now is a little bit tighter than the areas that you've been to thus far. It's it's a touch more kind of like compact and narrow, as the mountains that are rising up on either side of you are very close, and almost at a certain point you're walking through a pass. It's large, but it's almost sheer cliff on either side, as these two mountains have kind of a way that's been carved out through them, both by presumably by giantkin in the days of old to get further down the mountain. But as you're walking along this kind of path, because to go just straight over the mountains would be kind of a little bit too long and put you back up in the dense cloud cover, basically where you don't want to be, is high up on them. So you have to kind of come through this one funnel point. And the reason that is problematic is last time this is where you sustained most of your injuries. As the town of Northwatch, where you eventually went, they have a kind of a stopgap at these mountains, something of kind of an outpost where giant hunters kind of wait and protect the area from giants trying to make their way down to lower ground from up in the mountains here. And there are quite a number of giants other than you. So while you are probably one of the less harmful giants, they certainly don't know that. And as you're continuing along this path, you can now see the kind of solid, very thick wooden palisades that kind of cut across this little chasm between these two mountains. They are kind of lit up, and you can see a couple of guards even here on this winter solstice night walking back and forth across them as you're getting closer. But you are approaching this gate that is kind of preventing you from moving down the mountains. What do you guys want to do?
Now, what do we do this time?
Well,
Won't make it end up like last time, Crungus.
Crungus, I think we fly.
Really?
Yes, Crungus,
I love this part.
we fly. I cast fly on us.
All right. You begin to fly, and as you're kind of moving up and over the mountains, there are some fairly heavy winds around the region here that prevent you, like, you think you might lose a little control if you go up too high, but here in the pass between the winds, you know, like the wind tunnels kind of go, the in-betweens, so you're staying below the highest intensities of that, but you just fly up and over the gate. Go ahead and make me a stealth check.
Sure.
You're the one flying us.
And you begin flying, and to move the camera again, we cut to a guard sitting on the wall beneath you as you step upwards, and it's winter solstice night. He's cold. He kind of rubs his hand together, blows between them, and as I mentioned before, it is a full moon tonight, and you see him as he kind of looks over to another guard on the wall. Long night, eh? How come we got stuck with the solstice shift? The other one responds, just bad luck, I guess. Yeah, it seems like bad luck always happens to us. It's not like anything's gonna happen. Besides, I wanted to see the star, the solstice star. Can't even see it from... And he looks upwards. The cloud cover is... the cloud cover here is not as dense as it was higher up on the mountains, so you can see the moon kind of poking through a bit. And he sees just the silhouette of Crungus-Cringus flying above through the pass, perfectly against the moon. And from below, you hear a shout and then a bell begin to ring. I would like you guys to roll for initiative.
I think they saw us, Cringus.
Oh, I think they did, Crungus. And I was not prepared for that.
How high up do you want to be? I think you could go up to, like, over, I think you could go up to over 100 feet, before you start getting into the wind territory, so right around that area where it'd be too hard to fly, but you can, be lower if you want to be, or you could just say you're at 100.
I think 100 feet's good
just
for
kind
now.
of skimming right that area. Alright, and you begin flying kind of down and over, and as you move past, there's a little bit of like a military camp beyond. The bells start to ring, people begin to sound, and they're kind of talking and shouting amongst each other down below. But for starters, I assume that your first round is just to fly away, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna take this time to use my magic reserves.
Whoa. What does this do?
This is an ability I didn't realize the Wild Soul Barbarian had, as I just looked at the table and said, that's cool, but this part is busted on this one specific instance.
What happens?
So, I can channel the magic surging inside you into another creature. As an action, touch a creature, roll a d4. The creature recovers an expended spell slot equal to the level of the number rolled. If the creature you touch can't recover a spell slot of this level, the creature instead gains temporary hit points equal to 5 times the number rolled. You take force damage equal to 5 times the number rolled.
I'm confused about what's happening here.
He is
Restore...
touching me to give me a spell slot.
Okay.
A 3rd level spell
you
slot.
get your
use one of
flyback.
those, right?
Yeah,
and then we take 15 damage.
Ow.
Oh.
Ow.
You should make a concentration check.
Hey, Cringus.
That would have been so good. If it was just here, let me help with this magic.
Thanks, Crungus.
I don't need any of my magic.
And below, after this action here, the distant kind of din below continues, but that is, now the kind of war drums are beginning. And the guards below are starting to kind of go to their stations, but they're kind of doing a round of getting ready. It is your turn again. Is there anything that you would like to do?
I didn't realize this. I'm starting to feel a little bit woozy like last time. Maybe that's why I remembered it.
I imagine you didn't have... I imagine that the fly spell was specifically for this point, like you learned this because you knew you'd get to here.
Crungus, you ever notice how their war drums are incredibly elaborate?
Yeah, it almost sounds like not even drums, but
Horns.
trumpets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the war horns are also now in full swing. So is there any action, or is your action just to... You're just flying as far fast
Let's
as you
keep
can?
flying.
Alright, you continue to move away. You're a
It's
good
straight
chunk
on
of...
till morning.
You're a good chunk of distance below, and then you hear... let me check out some ranges here on some of these moves. What can they do? Okay, that will work. So, from deep below, you can hear them, in particularly, shouting a couple of words. And one of those is a name in particular. And that name that you keep hearing from below is Falcone! Falcone! And from below, you can't even really make them out amongst the chaos. But an arrow begins to fly up and towards you. And they are going to Hunter's Mark you. I'm sorry, what's the range? Actually, range on Hunter's Mark is 60 feet, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they're not going to Hunter's Mark you, they're just going to fire an arrow at you. And then another arrow at you.
Oh.
Oh boy. I believe those both hit.
I need you to make me 2 concentration checks.
Right.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. This individual should have had disadvantage because you are in darkness flying up in the sky.
Okay.
Let me roll them again. So the first one, we'll just say that was a 14, and that one hits. And the second one is a... Yeah, it's still gonna hit. Alright, so... 8 and
16. All right.
16 points of damage, and you succeed on your Constitution saving throw, but 2 arrows fly fast, and then you hear him kind of shout over at someone else, and we're going to roll initiative for all these fools now. But I think only 2 of them can do stuff in this situation. He's going to roll initiative as you guys have encountered an adventuring party.
Oh no.
If I'm not mistaken, we're at 50 hit points right now.
Uh-oh.
I have 83. What did I miss?
So I just dealt 15 to us.
You might be right.
I'd like to be at 83.
We'll assume you're at 83 because there's something heavy coming in at you right now as well, and that is this lightning bolt.
Yike.
And that is all they can do. Go ahead and...
Oh, Crungus, you're the one who's flying. You make it.
Yeah, that does kind of have to be you. And I need you to make another concentration check.
Yeah, I'm trying to... Yeah, alright, let's do it.
Hey! That's a big one. Alright, yeah, these 2 individuals are both, seem to have some pretty good range moves. As you continue to fly, you can fly higher up and try and get further out, but you'll go into the kind of, the whispering winds, which might knock you out of the sky or hurt you in that way, or you can just blaze forward. You're about halfway through the camp right now. And moving away at, I mean, a speed that they probably can't keep up with, but there's also the chance of them just hitting you harder. What do you want to do? And actually, I think we're in initiative proper right now, because that was their turn, so, what were your original initiatives here? 10 and 14, that was their turns, so it is...
0.
No, it was 14 and 0.
Jesus. Alright, so it is your turn, Crungus.
Crungus, I can't really do much right now. If you want to keep going, but if you want me to hit him, I'll go hit him.
Maybe we should go hit him.
You could, I mean, if you want to, like, take the dodge action, you could get ready to, like, block stuff. I'd give you that.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what I'll do.
I'd give you that at least.
Yeah, I'll take the dodge action. Get my arms in. Stop wiggling around so much. I was having a fun time before, and now
it was just a fun, fancy-free flight, and now it's a
life or death situation. Yes.
Alright, if you're gonna dodge, if you're gonna handle the dodging, I'll handle the moving.
Alright, you move?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Quickly.
Dash.
Yep, you dash. You're 3/4 of the way over the camp, and you're about to be completely past this encampment. The two on the ground that... can neither of these people do anything? No. There's two people that you don't notice that do nothing. And then the one that they presumably were calling Falcone before is going to fire 2 more arrows. He's still at disadvantage, but he does have that
He's
good...
at extra disadvantage, because I dodged.
That's a miss, and then another hit.
Okay, yeah, that one, Whew, we're good.
And then... I need you to make me another dexterity saving throw.
Oh, no.
Actually, it would be... oh, no, yeah, it's even for... you have advantage because of the dodge action. Oh, nice! So no matter what it is, so when he this time throws up a fireball... just another kind of bright streak begins to move through the air. This one's smaller, but you kind of can see it coming at you from a distance, Crungus, and you, like, push and batter it away. And it explodes. You know, you're able to get your arms up in front of it. It explodes less bad than it could have been, even though you're still cut up in the air. You should make me one last concentration check before you get completely out of the range of the... No! This was the fateful one! What is your health at right now?
38.
Oh, nice! You fall down to the ground as you begin to sort of slowly fall down. You hit the ground, and there is a guard base around you.
Dang it, Crungus, not again.
A good number of them are sort of holding back, but there's 4 of them in particular that look pretty ferocious that are up in the mix. That was this wizard's turn, which means whoever would like to lead off, you come to the ground kind of maybe 60, you're about 60 feet in front of where they are, and you have a legendary action, which either one of you would like to take it as you touch down to the ground, and then it is your turn proper, Crungus. But I would recommend using the legendary action before you lose it.
Yep, I'm gonna use the legendary action. How much camp is left?
60 feet of... I'm sorry, 120 feet of camp. So you were 1 round of flying away from getting out of it.
Goodbye, camp.
Oh, she's gonna fly again?
No.
Oh, wait.
Dimension door.
Oh, no! I mean, oh, yes. You just... Whoop! What does it look like when this Ettin uses Dimension Door? Because I feel like that's something... that you very rarely see, are Ettins casting very high-level, like, dimensional rift spells.
I open a door that appears in space.
It's just a regular door. Just like a wooden door.
A regular wooden door.
It's not like a cool,
not giant design. It is human design, but the size of giants. And I just sort of turn the doorknob, open it, walk, and close the door behind me.
Alright,
It does have a wreath on it.
And it closes, the little bell on the wreath kind of jingles a little bit. And as you're stepping through, the wizard is... Oh wait, what's the range on this? This is 60. Yeah, he can do this. He's actually going to try and counterspell. And you hear kind of a voice calling out... This is the last 3rd level. and he only has a 3rd level spell slot, so he can't do it higher, so he does have to roll for it.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
And he calls out, That giant is casting arcane magics! I'll stop it! He says in a kind of a cliche way. He's gonna make an intelligence check.
Oh, no. I counterspell.
Oh, wait, you counterspell this counterspell? And he goes to counterspell.
No, thank you.
And as your door begins to, like, reopen, and then you just kind of wave your hand, and his counterspell is shattered, and he kind of comically in place kind of flies backwards a little bit, like, ah, and kind of collapses. And you just... No, thank you. The door slams shut and disappears.
No, we don't want any.
And you appear once again a pretty good distance away down the mountain. The camp, like, where most of the things are done, but now you can see, as you come out, there's a little bit more of a downhill, and then a big staging area, and then a bunch of, some of the, like, wired gondolas that look like they're operated by, like, a hand crank to get people up and down to the guard station that lead down the mountain. You can see the lights of the town down below.
Oh, Cringus, is this new? I don't remember this.
There's guard station. It looks pretty new. There's lines.
It's not,
right?
You see, like, one person that's operating over near these lines that sees this Christmas Ettin appear not too far. I'm sorry, Solstice Ettin appear not too far away from where they are, and then like and begin just running awkwardly down the mountain.
Okay.
That's gonna be a problem. We can't let him get away.
Well, why not? We're pretty hurt, Cringus. I think how much time until a non-Scomet arrives?
We got some time, Crungus. Let's get him. He can't outrun us. And then we'll tend to our wounds.
Are you just gonna run off and just stomp after this fool?
Yeah, we go and grab him.
Alright, as you're kind of running along the snow, you come up, and like I said, there's this big kind of wooden staging area, and as your kind of giant feet hit down on it, you hear a snap, and the platform that this is based on begins to shift underneath you. I need you guys to make me dexterity saving throws.
Oh no.
Oh, no, I wish it was that one. Sorry, 18.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say one of you make a dexterity saving throw, but you guys, either of you did it. So you managed to stay on your feet, but all of the kind of like rigging and wood planks that were supporting this little area before the path just collapse under you, and you drop maybe like 10 feet, not taking any damage from it because I imagine your fall threshold's a little different because you're so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't take any damage from it, but you fall onto it, and now it's at a little bit of an angle because it was being propped up on the mountainside, which is covered in snow, and it begins to shift and slide as you start surfing down the mountain on this board.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
And you're very quickly gaining on this person that was running away on this giant platform that is now your snowboard. What would you all like to do?
I just wanted to take a rest.
I mean, we're gonna surf towards him.
Alright.
Wait, is he on the platform with
No,
us?
he ran off the platform and kind of like hopped down and is just running down the mountain because he didn't want to take a car because he figured that would be easy to catch. So he's just running down the mountain ahead of you, and this giant entire structure is about to crash into him from behind, and you guys are quick approaching him.
I'm gonna grab him and put him on the platform. Try not to run him over.
Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check as you're going past this dude.
Oh!
Fuck.
Do I knock him underneath the platform?
as you are sliding down the mountain on this thing, you just feel kind of, you go, I got you, and then it's just a slight top to the side, he falls over, and then boom, 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 boom.
Oh no!
And you don't, as you look back behind you, it's a little too dim, but there is some red in the snow. And there is like a little bit of a trail of red that now seems to be streaking on the ground behind you as this sled continues downwards. But that's the least of your concerns. As you turn your head back forwards, you're coming into what looks like a bit of a forested area on this kind of platform. This is about to be a skill challenge as you guys are surfing down the mountain. Please tell me how do you avoid this first obstacle, which is a whole bunch of trees.
Maybe.
No repeated skill checks as per the usual.
Cringus,
Yeah,
what do I do?
I think we should maybe try and stop. Because this is going to be difficult. Why don't you use your vast amounts of strength,
Yeah.
or our vast amounts of strength, to attempt to come to a stop, Crungus?
I'll take out my mace
Alright.
and I
It's not
slam
what I
it into the
expected,
ground
but alright,
behind
here we
us.
go.
Oh, to kind of like dig and drag it into the ground?
Yeah.
Alright, go ahead and make me a, just a raw strength check.
What?
And as you kind of go to dig in your mace, it slams into the ground and it hits what you're not expecting. Underneath the snow there must have been a rock and nothing to dig into, and your hand kind of lets go and you lose footing on your mace as it catches on the ground behind you, and also begins to tumble down the mountain just a little bit back behind you. It starts picking up snow in a hilarious gathering speed snowball fashion. You guys have 2 failures so far on your skill challenge.
I would like to try and
What would you like to
pull
do
up
next?
on the sled to sort of slow our momentum.
What is your you're about to crash in before like just stopping. You're about to like move through a forest, and you don't have like, especially with that failure, you don't have the time to like stop before you're hitting trees. So you're gonna have to do something to get out of the forest before you can worry about stopping it again.
Alright, abandon ship.
You just misty step off. You're just going over to the side.
Yep.
All right. Make a dexterity saving throw as you bail out. 17. All right. You'll take half damage from this enormous speed and momentum that you're moving at as you zip over to the side. You kind of come back in and you avoid the first tree and kind of kick off of it, cutting down your speed quite a bit before you get kind of smacked by the second one, and you're going to take half of this. What I was going to give you for falling damage on this.
Oh boy, Cringus.
You take half of that, so you only take 12 points of bludgeoning damage. As you get kind of slammed by the tree, you roll and kind of tumble for a bit. You see the sled that's now abandoned just kind of crashes into one, shatters and splinters into wood, pieces all about, and then you kind of like tumble down a few more and then come to a stop just kind of outside. You can see now there is a very large sort of gap in the cliffside that you guys were about to have to jump over in that thing, but now you are just kind of standing over it. It's maybe like 40 feet across. And you guys have come to a rest here on the mountainside.
Yeah, alright.
You can hear the distant sounds of people trying to like reconcile with this shattered platform and like come after you, but it looks like you got some time before they get you.
Now, Cringus, how deep do you think this crack is?
I look over the edge.
You look down. You don't have dark vision. You can't see to the bottom of it. It's late. It's dark out.
Ettins have dark vision.
Do they?
Yeah.
How many feet?
60.
Yeah, okay, you can't see the bottom. It's longer than 60 feet.
Alright, Crungus, let's fly down. Rest where it's safe.
That's what I was thinking.
And you're going to take a brief moment, and I think as you're going to fly down into the ravine and just rest at the bottom.
Yep.
Alright, it's about 120 feet down. But as you get down to the bottom of it and find a spot, there's some area here, and it's kind of, it curves up on the sides. This was just like an indent between a couple of very tall hills that has kind of, looks like tectonic plates maybe shifted and opened it up a bit. But you take a moment, and as you rest, I think that we will also take our break. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you're all enjoying this winter solstice adventure. We will be back in 5 to 10 minutes, and we will continue our story. So, see you all soon. And we are back. Welcome back to our Winter Solstice one-shot extravaganza. I'm your DM Pete. We're going to be hopping right back into it where we left off. Crungus-Cringus, the Solstice Ettin, has been continuing down the mountain to see the wondrous sight that is Anam's Comet. And as they kind of went down, they went over a human watch post where they had a dangerous running with some giant hunters, it looked like, but managed to escape by the skin of their teeth, skin of their two heads, and eventually, kind of after
we got a lot of skin on these teeth.
After a daring sled ride down the mountain, and then a short stop before absolute catastrophe, you stopped and then went down into this ravine and waited a moment. You guys heard, as you were waiting down in the ravine, the sounds of, like, human hunters, the hunters, like, looking for you, but they sort of stopped up, and that is where you guys are at now. They've kind of given up looking for you in the area where you are. They didn't check down in the ravine, and you guys take a short rest, and you said you recovered, you got a good amount of your hit points. What is your health at now?
138 out of 139.
Okay. But as you descend down into this ravine, we are going to flash back, as we did before, once more. Although not quite as far in the past. A little bit closer this time, to only, by your counting, something like a month. It was early in the winter season. That was the last convening of the Ordning and the Giant Council here within the mountain range above Northwatch. You stand around as representatives of the leaders of the various giant clans here, as you think back to this moment. You can see at its front, you can see the Storm Giant, and gathered around is a giant of each of the major types. You see a Cloud, a Fire, a Frost, and a Hill Giant, and then you, Crungus-Cringus, the Solstice Ettin, allowed a seat, if not a full seat, as you're not completely recognized by all of the giants here, but as a representative of the non-true giant king that reside here. Onis, ogres, others of the like. But Crungus-Cringus, being the most powerful among them, was chosen as the representative. It proceeds fairly normally. People are just discussing hunting rights, areas in which the tribes are able to proceed and, staying out of each other's territories, out of each other's ways, offering aid in some places, but for the most part, most of the giants' clans keep to themselves, and they check in, in far distant points, just to make sure that everyone agrees that they're going to continue to keep to themselves. Does Crungus-Cringus, what does Crungus-Cringus bring up, if anything, at this meeting? Like, do you just kind of, like, sit and listen and just sit through it, or is Crungus-Cringus try and, like, get a hand in giant politics?
Are we exchanging gifts this solstice?
The Storm Giant kind of looks across at you. No, Crungus.
Well, it's supposed to be the year that Anon's rock comes around again. And I was just thinking it'd be a good idea if we all, just got together like a family, like Dad would have wanted.
The Storm Giant kind will celebrate in their own way. The Clyde Giant kind of speaks up to you. Don't let him bother you. Thrun can be a bit of a hard one there, Crungus, but the Cloud Giants will be proceeding things in their own way as well. There's nothing like, Amon's rock up above the clouds. And he kind of smiles a bit, and the Fire Giant kind of speaks up. Too much work to be done. We'll be below. And The frost giant. The hill giant kind of just, like, ignores you, takes a big bite of something, and just, are we done yet? But the frost giant speaks up. No, I had another order of business to discuss with regards to Amon's comet, actually. We of the Frost Giant clan have decided that is enough, and is enough. We will strike at the humans' settlement this winter solstice. And a few of the giants kind of stir and look at them, seeing things, like, kind of finally becoming a bit interesting. The humans are weakened by the time of year. They let ceremony and tradition distract them from their purposes. It will be easiest to strike when they're at the most defenseless, and far too long have we giantkin allowed those small folk to push us out of the lands that should be ours below. Why should the mountain be our territory alone? And he kind of offers this to the council around, and most of the giants kind of ponder it over. They don't seem to, like, care that much. The fire giant speaks up. It is fine by us. Like I said, we have our own work to do. What you do outside of the mountains is none of our business. The hill giant gets a little bit excited about it, because once the humans are all gone, can we eat the town? Frost giant goes, we will discuss it later. But if there are no quarrels with this...
Why? Why bother? What does the lower lands have to offer us?
Greater hunting grounds, expanded territory, new prey to be overcome. And besides, do you not...
The interesting prey to overcome is up in the mountains, not down below.
There's just a lot of deer down there. I'd like to pet more deer.
And he kind of smiles and pulls from inside of his kind of big hide armor that he's wearing what appears to be a pretty simple sword, and then next to it a dried out skull. And he takes the sword and he kind of, like, puts it down on the table. And as you know, we frost giants collect trophies of the most powerful things that we've killed. And on his back, he has what looks like the skull of... it looks like the skull of a dragon that he's kind of... is kind of coursing up over his back for armor. And he goes, this is the most powerful thing that I've killed. The strength of some of these small creatures with their magics that they study. They work hard and long and gain powers unlike any of the beasts in these mountains. The lands beyond will make great prey, trust me that.
I mean, what about the nice ones? Oh, just the last time Xenon Comet came around, we was injured trying to go look at it down below, and then there was these two really nice humans that gave us bandages and some herbs to put on it, and we lived because of them.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Oh boy. Well, thankfully I have an 11. No.
He kind of looks at you. Well, what they do with themselves is no concern. I'm only interested in the strong ones.
Well, if you just go for the strong ones and not like the little kids, then I guess that's alright.
They're welcome to run. But that town will be the staging point for our new settlement down at the ground level. And he kind of looks over the giants and, do any of you contest this? And the other giants all kind of, like, ruminate for a while, but all of them seem like they don't really care. And the frost giant looks back at you. Do you contest me on this, Lowborn?
Oh, we don't have to bring that into it,
I guess no.
Good. And he kind of, with that, this flashback ends, and we cut back to you, the kind of big grand cave that you were all sitting in, circles down to the much more cramped ravine and the small, do you set up like a campfire? Or do you just, I guess that would make
we're
smoke.
just chilling,
Yeah,
yeah.
just kind of hanging. And you kind of right yourself and catch yourself, but you now know that the town is expecting a giant siege this evening.
Oh, right. How do you think they got around the guards? You think they can fly like we can?
No, I don't think they can. I imagine they would have gone through the guards.
Yeah, but
We might be ahead of them.
maybe we are.
It is still early in the evening. You have at least a few hours before the comet arrives.
We should get a move on.
Yeah, let's climb out of here and get going.
Yeah,
Do you climb, or do you want to fly?
we
out?
climb.
Okay. Go ahead and make an athletics check. I think with advantage, because it seems like you're helping yourself. The only person that could ever help themselves is one arm working, one person working each leg. And you eventually... Now I have a question. Can you give each other both arms if you wanted to? Or do you have... Are you just only able to use your own arm?
I think we could give each other our
But
arms.
that is a very rare occasion.
Hmm.
Also, mechanically, this is the thing I forgot to tell you guys. If you ever disagree on something that you want to do, you guys can both make charisma, like, will checks to be the thing that you do.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. But you guys climb out, hand over hand. The ravine is tall, but with your strength, it is a relatively easy climb. And you reach the top. You can see the lights of the town below, and you are able to continue into the night. The rest of your walk down the mountain, the beasts in this region are not nearly as kind of tall and vicious, or large and vicious rather, and pretty much like you were saying, it's mostly just deer and things about. You can see quite a few. You can see quite a few footprints that are leading down and into the area from humans as you're walking down. Go ahead and make a survival check. Both of you, if you would like.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, their numbers are pretty great, and judging on like the kind of shape and size of the footprints, there's a lot of. They're definitely wearing some of like those weird human metal cans that they wear, and it looks like a lot of the guard has kind of like retreated off of this first stronghold and moved back towards the town because you got through. Is the impression that you're getting following these footsteps. Although certainly not as many people as you saw. There must also be a bunch up at the pass as well.
Well, maybe they'll hold off the frost giants, and the other people in here will be all right.
Maybe. We should keep moving.
Yeah, we can't get too close to the town, because then the lights will be too bright.
Okay. So as you get closer, would you like to make me a stealth check? If you want to like stay on the outskirts, I'll give you like advantage if you're just trying to get like close enough to the town. And as you're getting near the town, looking up above, the cloud cover here is much lessened. It's a lot wispier. You've covered a lot of like horizontal distance beyond just descending, and yeah, you can see stars.
So, ugh. I shouldn't do the stealth checks.
I mean, my stealth check
Alright, maybe I should do the stealth check.
Oh, jeez.
They're the same stealth check.
You... I mean, I don't think you guys are going to... I think what the stealth check means, because you're staying, like, outside, and it's not like they're gonna see you, like, walking in the woods through the dark, like, far away. You're not carrying a torch or anything. But I think in being stealthy, you guys take a while to do this. Like, this... as you're moving through, you have to, like, wait for a lot of long times as you're kind of waiting behind trees and in wood cover, as more kind of contingents of guard are kind of moving past, and when you get down to the town, it actually ends up taking you, rather than, like, the hour it was going to take you to get down there, it ends up taking you about twice that distance, and you are now on the outskirts, outside of the kind of wall, the much less, like, elaborate and grand. This is much more, like, you're pretty sure that if you put your weight into it, you could just take down this wall. The palisade here on the outside of the town, and there's a gate. And the guard is in full protection, but also in the distance you can hear, as you did 50 years ago, it brings back some memories, the sounds of merrymaking and people celebrating the solstice within. But you are in the woods on the outskirts of the village.
Oh, quick reminder, that wreath I made earlier is on top of my head. That's how I'm carrying it.
Like a crown.
Excellent. Very good. And in the distance, you hear, from higher up on the mountain, you hear a couple of loud, like, crashes, and then you hear a frost giant war horn coming from the top of the mountain. Or not the top of the mountain, from higher up the mountain than where you were. Presumably them having moved past, behind you, past that blockade.
Cringus,
Where are you?
my mace.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I just assumed that you picked up your mace.
Alright,
Oh,
I'm not gonna call you on that, you're good. I'm not gonna be crippled for the whole...
I forgot it's behind my back. I was holding it, and then I wasn't holding it because we climbed up the thing, and then, alright.
Say nothing to worry about, Crungus.
And you got some of your magic back because of the rest, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you want me to do the thing that might be, it gives you some of it more? It could hurt, though.
It could hurt.
But
it could help though, so maybe we should.
Alright, I'm gonna try it again.
Oh, it helps if you put an R in the command.
Whoa! Whoa!
You get a 4th level spell slot back.
And
but we take 20
damage.
oh,
Oh,
That really, okay, I think we done it.
yeah, I think that's good.
but I mean, you got the 4th level spell slot, so equal pay for equal work, you could say.
Yeah. Alright.
I really want to see the comet this time, and I don't know how we could get, Ulysses?
I believe it was Isla and the other one.
Johan.
The Johan.
Oh, I feel like Crungus probably remembers, and Crungus does not.
I don't know how we might see them.
I mean, how much could they have changed in 50 years? We look the same.
It's true. But it could be bigger.
They could be bigger. Maybe we should...
They were real small.
Well, let's go where we met them before.
Right. Where's that?
Over there, I say, pointing in the direction and heading toward where I believe we met them before.
All right. I think that's where you are. I think I think you went to this point because that's where you met them before, which is in
I
the
mean-
woods, a little bit outside of the village, but still pretty close to the village.
Right here. We met them right here.
And you're looking around, and you don't immediately see them.
Well, I guess we could wait. But there might be frost giants coming at us.
Meh.
What do you do? There's an hour left until the comet passes.
Feel like they might ruin Solstice if they come and attack right now.
Right, if they come right as the comet's supposed to be here, and I gotta make sure I'm not being stabbed instead of looking up at the sky, I'm gonna be really mad. Maybe.
Maybe should we warn them?
Yeah? I don't know. Look,
We have to do this delicately, though.
okay.
They're gonna be freaked out because they're afraid of us. So,
Usually happens. It's what happened last time.
That was weird.
maybe... Alright, I've got an idea. Alright, I bring out my familiar.
Alright.
That's been following us this whole time.
What's your familiar? I mean, you conjured this, I mean, you conjured them now. What's your familiar?
It's an owl.
Is it a big owl?
It's
It's a physically big owl that uses a regular owl stat block, right?
No, it's a regular sized owl. It's really small in
Compared.
comparison to me.
It's just comically tiny as it rests on your shoulder next to your head. That's more of a pigeon, but that's fine. Woo!
Alright.
Mr. Owl.
Go on.
That's my owl's name,
It speaks to you.
Mr. Owl.
It speaks to you telepathically. Go on, finish it.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Why not?
You got there.
That's
A
not. That's,
fantasy Tootsie Pop.
that's not canon. The owl who's in response. What do you tell the owl to do?
Alright. Go and lead someone out here. Figure it out.
You just tell the owl to go lead someone out and figure it out.
Alright, I'll do it. I space out into the owl.
This is a very powerful form of Find Familiar where one of you still can control your body.
Yeah, that's some shit.
It's a rare it's a rare scenario, Crungus, in which all of a sudden you begin to have feeling in your left arm, and it's strange.
Whoa, I start
Something
waving
happens.
it up and down.
Happens every once in a while.
I know what you're doing with my arm.
No, it wasn't. It just goes slack. I wasn't doing nothing.
And the owl begins kind of flying out, and what do you do with the owl?
I'm gonna look around the town.
Alright, you begin flying over. There seems to be something of a festival in the center of it.
Okay. I'm gonna look for anyone that looks at least vaguely like the people we're looking for.
Like little kids?
Well, I'm assuming they're taller.
Okay, you try and find taller people with baby faces. Is that like your... What's the strat? Tell me what the thing that you're looking for. What's your identifying mark?
Oh, well, okay. Now, so here's the thing. I'm actually smart. Like, I have an 18
Okay,
intelligence.
so you have a good understanding of what these people might look like grown up.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make an investigation check using the owl. Oh! Incredible!
That keen eyesight. Wait, does it have keen eyesight?
It does.
And as the owl's kind of scouting around and moving about the village, it's flying past, and eventually you see the owl kind of flutters over to a woman. She looks to be maybe around the age that you're looking for. You had a couple of tries that didn't quite pan out, but this one, she's sitting at kind of a grand, like, feasting table towards the center chair, and her chair looks a little bit more elaborate than most of the other ones here, and the owl kind of flits down, and a lot of the people at the table kind of, like, turn over and look at the owl, but you kind of have to get it this close in order to, you know, really look and see here. And she just kind of leans forward and speaks towards the owl. Well, aren't you a curious one? I've never seen an owl that was so not skittish. That's strange. And she kind of reaches out and goes to, like, pet the fur on it. And someone next to her kind of just speaks up. She seems to like you, Elder. Thank you. I guess so. Perhaps it's just my natural charisma. And then a man walks over, kind of wearing a guard's uniform, and speaks up to about the same age as this individual, and says, Isla, there's been giant sightings. And Isla kind of, like, looks up at him and raises an eyebrow and says, it couldn't be. And he kind of shakes his head. No. Frost giants. Several of them. A raiding party. They're working their way down the mountain as we speak. The gateway has already fallen. She goes, all right. And she begins kind of, like, moving to action and getting people to go about and ready themselves, steal themselves into their homes. You see things become busy, but presumably, in looking at them, just distant glimmers of what they used to look like. But the guard captain and the village elder here appear to be Johann and Isla.
I tell the owl to stay with him. And I sort of come back out of the trance, and I say, alright, I found him, what they know about the frost giants, so...
Oh, by the way, the entire time Cringus is gone, I'm doing the thing where this is why I'm upset I don't have a camera right now, Pete, because I'm just doing the thing with the arm, where it's just like the wave going back and forth.
I could never do this before.
And all of a sudden, as Crungus snaps back into
what do you think you're doing, Crungus?
You completely lose control of the arm.
Nothing. Wow, I was just really appreciating having one arm. It's all mine and not two.
Make a deception check. I was gonna say with disadvantage, and I didn't, but
yeah, no, it's true. That's exactly how I did it.
But I think it's a 2. Yeah.
I don't know about whatever you say, Crungus. I definitely believe you.
Oh, yeah.
In that case, you are on the outskirts of the village.
Thanks, Cringus.
You can hear the sound now. You heard the first the war horn, and now heavy footsteps are growing closer. From where you are, you can see now kind of mounting themselves on the palisade. You can see those 4 particularly powerful humans that were battling against you before are now standing atop the wall, readying themselves for the oncoming enemies. What do you guys do?
Oh,
Yeah. Tell them and help them out.
well, they know they're coming.
Yeah. And we know they're coming.
Or maybe we lay him wait. Maybe help him?
Alright, we'll wait until those guys show up. And I'm gonna hit him, because he made me kinda mad at the meeting. And I couldn't do nothing with everyone else there.
Or may not to exchange gifts on Solstice.
Right, it's just... Dad'd be very unhappy with us.
And I like that, like... I feel like Crungus-Cringus is the only one that... is, like, the only Ettin and the only person that has these, like, really strict traditions. Like, no other giant, there's, like, no other giant that's, like, except for the giants that are, like, technically beneath you, because you're the leader of the, like, ogres and stuff. And I imagine they just, like, show up with solstice gifts to you out of, like, respect, because that's what you, the leader, wants, but it's, like, not a giant thing.
It's solstice time.
Oh, let's lay low for a bit, Crungus, and see what happens.
So you are just going to, just watch and just kind of...
Yeah, my owl is with, Isla.
Alright, and some time passes, and eventually the giants kind of reach the end. The kind of banging of war drums, kind of gets ever closer and closer, the occasional and you can see now the frost giants have approached. You see they run in a fairly small pack, because obviously they did not think all that much of the opponents that they were going to be facing. You can see the leader, who was there with you at the ordning, one that you know by the name of Grimfa, and two other frost giants that appear to be kind of at his side, as well as what looks like something of a hound for him, but it's not a hound. It's a small dragon-like creature. It appears to be a guard drake that these frost giants are known to carry. The white ones often move, and it kind of stands at his side, and then the war drummer behind them as they kind of step up, and he goes up and speaks. Small folk, I am Grimfa, and I am here to conquer your civilization. Bring forth your leader and your strongest warriors. And you can see the four kind of adventurers from before, which are set up on the wall. Kind of one of them speaks up. Your strongest warriors, we're right here. Why don't you go ahead and turn back around? I don't like killing giants on Solstice.
Seems like a reasonable fella.
Well, I mean, he did try and kill us, and that's kind of a lie.
Yeah, this is the one with the bow that you saw before. And the one of the frost giants to the side of this one speaks up. You think these little ones are that strong? He has no muscles. And the leader speaks up. No, there is strength in these ones. They have skill. We will see if he is a worthy challenger or if not. And if not, we will find more. This is only the beginning. He goes, so that must mean that you are the leader as well. And then you see Isla kind of steps up and speaks out. I am the leader of Northwatch, the village elder. And he kind of like is taken aback a little bit, not expecting someone who does not look to be, not carrying weapons, not decked in anything kind of aggressive could be the leader. What are you guys doing as this exchange kind of continues?
So I'm trying to. How many exactly frost giants do I see?
You see a drummer frost giant who's kind of young and at the back, two at his side, and then him.
So just 4 frost giants.
Yep, and a guard drake, for what that's worth.
Right. Yeah. Well, whatever. Okay. I'm still just sort of seeing how this plays out.
Just hanging, you two, Crungus?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, Crungus, what if we decide to protect the human village and tell them that we're the strongest warrior?
I mean, I could.
Because I think I'm pretty strong.
I mean, we are pretty strong.
I just want to, but I think I could take one, but I don't think I can take all of them.
Let's see how this plays out and intervene as necessary.
Make a history check, Crungus.
13, that's a good one.
It's a good one for you. You've interacted with frost giants enough to know that they're pretty prideful. You think that he would fight you one-on-one if you wanted to do that. But if you called them out and goaded them into it, you think it would be pretty easy to get them to fight you one-on-one. But it continues, exchanges kind of continue to go back and forth on each side. And you get the impression that Isla's basically saying, like, hey, we'll yield the town to you. Promise me that, we won't hurt anyone, we'll abandon the town, you can have it. And he's basically like, no, I want to fight your strongest people. And the adventurers seem to be gearing up to battle against them. And tensions seem to be about to come to a head. Is there anything you want to do, or do they just let him start to fight?
If we fight them and we win, those humans might heal us like they did last time. But
That's true.
we have to tell them, tell us to look up when the comet's coming, because I want to see it. It's pretty close.
I look at the town. The Palisade's pretty pathetic, right?
They're good. The Palisade's going to come down if these giants decide to bring. You could bring it down, and these giants are a little bigger than you are.
Yeah. We gotta intervene, I think.
Alright. Let's be real dramatic about it.
Hey, Grandpa! Swagger, I have like one big arm out, but I assume Cringus doesn't also swing his elbow out, so it just kind of looks weird.
It's just like one arm very highly raised out to the side. And
We's the strongest one in this village.
and as you kind of call this out, Grimfa kind of looks over and just goes, Crungus-Cringus.
Yeah,
Oh,
You've
we're
come.
here because these humans been nice to us, and we don't want them to lose their home. And also, I think I could take you.
Go ahead and make a. I don't think it's intimidation. That seems almost like a. Tell me which charisma-based roll you would like to make.
It's just a challenge, right?
Yeah, it's almost. It's the most neutral statement I've ever heard.
I'm just gonna roll strength. Flex a little.
And you kind of like flex a little bit, like, yeah, I've been working out. I think I can take it. And Grimfa looks back at you, and he kind of looks towards the two giants at either side, just like a look, and begins to just. Come now, Crungus. We're higher on the ordning than you. You know you could never stand a chance against me.
I don't know about that. Ripple.
He looks towards you, Crungus. You would oppose me on this.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we should have done it back at the ordning meeting.
Shoulda, but didn't want
Well, we
to be
didn't
all
get-
around all them.
I have the blessing of the ordning. If you go against me, they will not come to protect you when you fall.
Well, I don't think they'd come to protect us anyways.
Yeah, we seem to be pretty on our own.
And he seems to be getting pretty frustrated. Like, you see him starting to get, like, angry. Like, I can't believe I'm gonna have to fight another... Like, can't believe I'm gonna have to fight this goofball in addition to fighting all these people. And he kind of looks at you like... Fine.
You
Let us settle our business.
one-on-one. No
Well-
humans interfere either.
Yeah.
Make a persuasion check on that. With advantage, I think, because they probably are a little bit sketchy about wanting to do so either. And you see the four adventurers up on the wall all kind of look over at you, and the leader speaks up. Seems you have some history here. I'm not going to step in the way of this. I mean, hell, hit him a couple times. If you go down, it'll make us easier for us. We're not trying to do any more work than we have to. And he kind of like puts down his bow, and kind of looks over at Isla, and Isla kind of looks back. Johan, come. Who the guard captain steps up on the wall here, and they kind of stand side by side, and they look out at you, Crungus-Cringus, reunited after 50 years. And Isla stares at you. I thought that our meeting was a dream, perhaps. Johann speaks up. I never thought I'd see the day that the two of you came back. And he seems a little embarrassed that he didn't know how to refer to you.
Oh, well, we're looking for two. They were real small.
Crungus is them. That's them.
Oh, it's them. Oh, hi. It's good to see you again. Except, wow, I thought you'd just be bigger, but now you also look old. How fast do humans
It's
grow
been 50
and
years.
die anyways?
It's been 50 years, Crungus.
Yeah.
He says, trying out the word a little bit. She speaks up.
Yeah, well, we never forget a solstice kindness.
I look forward to seeing the star with you tonight.
Oh, I made this for you.
And I take the wreath off my head and toss it onto the wall.
You throw it onto the wall. Johann kind of catches it and looks at like the wolf teeth wreath and with all of the things into it, and she speaks up. It's beautiful.
All right.
Thank you.
You got a bit of business to take care of first, but wait
And
for it.
you turn around and face off with Grimfa.
Oh, I'm ready, Crungus.
Let's do this.
I would like you to roll the initiative. As a special giant, he also has a legendary action, which I'm going to negate to neither of you get a legendary action, because it'll just be more confusing.
All right. $16 and 0. I just roll mine with initiative because fierce instincts, you know.
Did he not come up? Oh wait, he was first. Oh, you got a 16. Okay, that's what it was. All right, so the first to act in this instance, as the two of you kind of square off, you circle around each other for a couple of moments, and Grimfa looks at you. You won't even be remembered. And he kind of grits his axe, and Crungus, the move is yours.
Won't even be remembered.
I enter into a rage, releasing a wild magic surge. In 8. Which one's that? A beam of brilliant light lances from my chest. 60 feet long. Each creature in the line must make a con save or take 2d8 and be blinded until the start of my next turn.
Is it half as much on a success?
No.
Alright, he's pretty good at those. Oh, what's the DC?
Oh, so it's a d8 plus it's 8 plus proficiency plus con modifier.
Which is
So
probably more than 12.
That's going to be 15.
Oh, no!
He's going to eat a fat one on that. So he's going to take 6 radiant damage and be blinded. And that's before I run up to him and smack him with my mace.
Oh, damn. Alright. Unfortunately, the 13 does not hit. And the 13 does not hit.
Oh my god.
28, he's blinded.
Oh, you're right. The second one does hit. For 17 points of damage. Alright, with kind of a mighty first swing as you square off against Grimfa, he kind of like, as you say the thing about not being remembered and you unleash this blinding light, he kind of leans back terribly and is, thrown to the side a bit by his light as you cut across with the mace for, what was that damage again?
So
17.
it was 6 plus 17, 23 total.
Oh, 23. Pretty good. And he gets a pretty good hit on him as it moves next to his turn. And he's going to just kind of blindly lash out twice and swing with his great axe. Oh!
Oh, he has disadvantage. He's
Oh,
blinded.
you're right. So that's a 24. So it'll be the 28 damage.
Still 28 damage.
And
we're
then the
at
second
90.
one will do it disadvantage.
Oh wait,
properly.
it's halved. It's halved.
Yeah, it is halved.
And then 30, half to 15. So you take a total of 29 points of damage in this round as two mighty axe swings cut into you and leave some pretty non-insignificant cuts, despite your rage. Where does that leave you? You were at full, right?
We're at 89. No, because we did the thing where we
yes,
healed stuff up.
that's true.
Yeah, we already took 20. So yeah.
And he is going to make that second attack, by the way. He's going to make that a trip attack. I would like you to make me a strength saving throw.
Strength save.
It does an extra 6 damage. It's an extra 3 damage on top of that.
Oh my God!
Shit! And as he kind of hits you with a second axe swing, it cuts about your feet, and as it catches into the axe, it cuts in.
Oh
and
wait! Oh no, I don't have it on saves.
Yeah,
It's only on
he cuts in and
checks.
kind of pulls, and you fall onto your butt as he pulls you down, and you take an extra 3 damage. I halved that for you. As we move next initiative to...
Oh wait, no, I'm raging. I have advantage on strength saving throws.
Oh, that's of course true. So never mind, you're fine. Crungus, you just take the damage.
Yeah, alright, okay. Well, I will cast Shadow Blade,
Very good.
and I will Booming Blade our friend here.
All right.
19.
19 is going to hit. For
24 damage.
that's only if the moves, right? Oh wait, no, that's
Nope, there's an additional
that's just your
D8.
damage.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, 24 points of
12
damage.
if it moves.
Nice. And anything else on your turn?
Nope.
All right. That's going to bring us back around to you, Crungus.
So start of my turn. He's no longer blinded.
Okay.
I'm still gonna swing at him with my mace once and a twice for a total of 45.
Two mighty swings. Woo! All right, you.
Just back and make him come to us.
And he's no longer blinded, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
You said you're going to step backwards.
Yeah. We're
Yeah,
gonna.
he can't provoke an opportunity attack, so because he can't see you, so you can just do that for free.
They
And
say, "Come on now."
Taunting him.
all right, yeah, with the two heavy blows against him, both of them catching on his face, and he kind of like is staggering a bit from this first. Oh, that's a little bit loud, that music. He kind of is staggering a little bit, leaning forward as he's kind of gripping his axe, and he looks over the two of you and says, "You have improved. Worthier foe than I thought. But you won't survive this." And steps forward and is going to swing no longer at disadvantage. Is just going to swing well.
He's gonna take 12 damage from the booming
Immediately,
blade.
and as he steps, there's an explosion. He gets thrown back a step, and then runs forward, kind of angry at the trick here. That's an 11. That misses, right?
Yeah.
Gracious.
And then, oh no!
Whoosh, whoosh.
Crungus-Cringus definitely dodges.
With the
left
first
and right.
one, he is going to make a precision attack. So 16 would hit, right?
No.
Oh shit! Oh no! You see, as he swings in with the great axe, it comes down, and with kind of an unexpected step, you were sure you're out of range. He does a quick step in and leans down just close enough, and then a force field comes up and blocks it. He's kind of confused and caught off guard. Where did you learn that magic?
I've been studying.
as we move next to Cringus. What would you like to do, Cringus?
Studying magic and the art of the blade. Stab.
Make an attack roll. A 14 is going to miss, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You leave the hitting to me, Crungus. You cast the spells.
Alright, fair enough.
And anything else on your turn?
No.
As we move to the top of the initiative, which is going to be Crungus. What do you want to do?
Oh, I'll miss.
That's gonna miss, yeah.
And then I'll hit.
And you'll hit for 20. Another sturdy blow against him. And he's he's starting to look a little bit battered. He is at this point bloodied, as you've landed some heavy blows. In particularly Crungus with those mace swings, so consistent with these. As you're throwing him back. Anything else on your turn, Crungus?
No, that's it.
As he leans back, he kind of catches himself a little bit, and then he looks at you, and you see just a terrible kind of rage in his eyes, and speaking to a god that you are familiar with, a god of frost giants, he just kind of goes, Thrym, I need your aid. And he kind of clasps his hand to his chest, and you see tattoos on his body begin to kind of like light where they used to be blended in with his skin. Now they're glowing a kind of a brilliant blue, with giant symbology that you recognize as magic of the deity Thrym, the frost giant who was bested on this very day countless solstices ago. And he is going to swing again with his great axe and strike at you for... Ooh.
Not blocking those.
No.
And I need both of you to make me a Constitution saving throw. Alright, both of you attempt to kind of resist this particular effect. However, as he kind of like... He just suddenly kind of breathes in, and you see those runic tattoos on his body begin to kind of like glow and darken in a pattern, seeming to like move up to his like stomach and then to his kind of his neck and then up to his face, where they all kind of glow for a moment, and then as he unleashes a torrent of breath upon you, you collectively fail, unfortunately, and are going to take that is 10 d8. A full 44 points of cold damage.
Oh!
That puts us down to 20.
Uh-oh.
That happened fast.
Whoa. And that is his turn. What would you guys like to do?
Uh-oh, Crungus, that one really hurt.
That one hurt quite a bit. It's me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That won't help, that won't help. Oh, I need to roll a saving throw. Well, I retain the Shadow Blade.
Nice.
I will... Bop.
What's the play? His war
I
throwers.
will-
Oh, go ahead.
I will, cast Haste.
Oh! And that affects both of you, which means you now have an action.
With that action, I don't, my Shadow Blade goes away, but I just pull out, like a dagger, and attempt to Booming Blade this guy.
All right.
I don't have a dagger thing, but I'll just roll
Oh,
the shadow blade.
you about to outbox this fool?
So there's the shadow blade. So that hits, right?
Indeed it does.
6 plus 8. He takes 12 damage, some of it thunder, and
And then a booming? He's boomed?
Yeah, he's boomed.
Alright, in that case...
Which, if he moves, he will take 2 damage.
I mean, he's actually starting to, like, stagger over a little bit. These blows, the two of you are not... The two of you are heavy, heavy hitters. So I would like to move the turn next to...
Crungus.
Crungus. You are hasted. Crungus, you feel an incredible energy kind of coursing over you at the moment. No!
Crungus' first swing misses.
It just completely goes over the head of the giant. The next one connects. Roll damage. 17 points of bludgeoning damage. He's teetering a bit.
I have another action. 19.
19. Another
Only
10.
10! No, the lowest!
And he continues to hold.
13! Oh, God.
And another 13.
Yeah, I only did 40 damage to him this round with 4 attacks. Shit.
There's only... Wait, you had 4 attacks?
Yeah, because I'm hasted.
Oh, shit. Yeah, anyway. Well, you don't get an extra attack from... You don't get to use your extra attack feature on haste, or do you have 3 attacks normally? So I think you should only have 3 attacks.
And speed is doubled.
It's not an
and
attack
it gains
action,
An additional
it's-
action.
The action
On
you can
each
only
of
use to
its
take the
turns.
attack, 1 weapon attack only.
Oh.
Yeah, so you, that last one you can't do, unfortunately.
Ah, shit.
Sorry,
Alright.
sorry to stickle you.
Then instead... oh, damn it. Yeah. No. Okay. Okay.
He has used his big move. Do you want to stay where you are, or are you gonna...
Well, we're gonna provoke an attack of opportunity if we move,
Yeah, but
so...
you're fast, so it's up to you. Staying?
It's your move.
Staying where I am. I'm gonna say an
It's an 11. Oh, he misses! With his plus 9 to hit, he rolls the 11. And then a 17.
What's our AC?
15.
13?
It's 15 with the
Oh,
haste.
wait, but he has his precision strike. He's got a couple of those left. 13, he misses! You take 14 points of slashing damage as the axe cuts across.
No,
Oh,
I don't
he,
think we
oh, he
do.
misses both. As you cast up another shield in front, protecting yourself, your AC becoming 20 for a moment. He kind of staggers forward, kind of losing his breath a bit, as the turn moves now to you, Cringus.
Alright. I will booming blade him.
Alright.
It's the shadow blade this time, but oh, I miss.
That's misses. You got an
Alright.
extra action.
Yeah, I try and stab him. Which I'll just roll the same thing. 23 to hit, so 8 damage.
8. Another 8, everything counts. Crungus.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm not. I need to put 2 more d4s because it's a big dagger. And I forgot it last time, so 4 more damage overall.
Oh.
Between the last 2 turns.
You missed the last one, but you'll give you this one.
No, I hit last turn.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Alright.
Crungus, what's the play?
Crungus can only scream, "This is for exchanging gifts on so."
Blah. 15 misses. I'm guessing.
15 hits.
15 hits.
Yep.
And then let's do a third one for good measure.
18 is gonna hit for 13. Let me subtract those. 18 minus
37. Yeah. That's a 50 damage, Chief. Wait, no, I can do it.
That's 50 damage.
That's 50 damage, Chief.
And in this instance, as you kind of swing your war axe 3 times, Crungus, would you care to describe to me the killing blow on your giant foe here this day?
Well, you know I scream, "This is for exchanging gifts on soul!"
And that's the first hit.
And I was saying, "This is for respecting your dad!" With the second.
Just
And this is for letting me watch the comet once!
And then I give him the final overhead chop. And I stare into the sky with a victory roar.
The mace pounds down into his head, and he kind of falls, and the other 2 kind of frost giants at his side, and the kind of war drummer stops playing, and as you let out this kind of primal roar, the 2 of them kind of look at you. Both of them kind of bow their heads in respect of your victory here. You can hear a lot of the villagers kind of let loose a kind of a grand cheer, ha-ha, as it kind of echoes around the area, and the horn player and war drummer lets out a long mournful signaling the defeat of their leader. And with that, you have overcome the frost giants here. You see Isla and Johan both kind of run out to see you, and they kind of speak up. Are you okay?
Those giant bandages again.
Yeah.
And looks over towards like those heroes that were sitting on the wall. Go now, fetch the bed sheets. And they run off, and we're really gonna help this giant. I know you. And they do it now. And Johan kind of nods in agreement. And with that, they begin to tend to your wounds as they did 50 years prior. And it is nearing midnight. The whole town kind of grows quiet. The frost giants that remain kind of hang their heads and walk back up, defeated, carrying the body of their leader with them. Presumably to either protect him or bury him, or, heal him or bury him, you're not sure. And a quiet moment.
Yeah, humans. Well, I'm very glad to see you. I'm just saying right now, I am not taking my eyes off of the sky until I see this rock.
And they kind of lead you through the main gate. They open it wide for you. You could have knocked it down easily, but you've never been welcomed into the human town before. And they walk you towards the center, and the 2 of you have never seen such resplendent solstice merriment before. Everyone here...
Crungus still hasn't.
Crungus is still looking up at the sky.
Everyone here seems to celebrate the solstice. Cringus, as you look around. And in this final flashback, I'd like you to tell me about your father. And what was your last solstice that you remember with him like? How did Crungus-Cringus become to love the solstice season so?
Well, he's not dead. Anam or whatever his name is.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Is that the thing? So do we?
I thought that's what Crungus has been going for this entire night.
Crungus.
I always thought our dad wasn't on, because it's what was always taught by the other giants, and they was always telling us where father this, father, and all that.
And
they never had like a father, just the giants.
Our father went out to get milk and cigarettes.
Giant cigarettes.
Giant cigarettes and giant milk.
And as you...
Let's just bring an alcohol cow.
Just a tobacco.
And as we see this somber moment in Crungus and Crungus's, your cave, back where you lived on top of the mountain, your...
Well, I'm imagining the first solstice that we realized was a thing was like the one time the clouds were kind of parted and we saw the big old rock in the sky.
and
It's just little Crungus and Cringus sitting there watching the big rock, and then like Cringus hands Crungus like some stupid little gift that means there was nothing.
And it was the best thing I ever owned.
And as you remember looking back up into the sky and realizing that your father was in fact the All-Father, you feel, as you look up against it now, as you stare at the great rock that moves across the sky, another kind of moment of serenity, and you see begin to tail and move, oohs and ahs coming around you from the assembled small folk, as the comet kind of tails, and you see the kind of end of it, the flames and kind of lights that streak off of it, gleaming brilliant blues and oranges and yellows, as they kind of dance across the sky. It goes for a time.
You see it, Crungus?
I see, Crungus.
It's been 100 years.
Yeah. 100 years since we saw the rock.
And then it passes over. And the town square is left again once again in a moment of silence as everyone takes in such an incredible natural sight. And Isla and Johan kind of look up to you. I'm glad that we were able to watch it together.
Yeah, so is we.
But for now, the solstice night is not over, and you're here with us in town. Would you care to join our solstice celebration?
Yeah, sure.
And with that, you see the quiet moment passes, and the people of the town... Oh, I don't know why this is playing twice. For some reason, this track is playing twice at the same time for me.
I don't know. I kind of dig it.
Fair enough. That's super weird. And you hear the sounds echoing throughout the town of music and laughter begin to kind of kick up as festivities ignite once more. And there are solstice decorations all about. And the people of the town hail Crungus-Cringus, the Solstice Ettin, a hero. They serve you all the food you could possibly eat. You see more wondrous lights and solstice decorations than you've ever seen, and you spend an evening in solstice merriment. And
we'll come and spend solstice here
and there's a rousing cheer from the surrounding village. And congratulations, Crungus-Cringus.
Oh, Crungus, we can't go back up into the mountain. We're here for good.
Oh, what? Oh, I guess they'd be real mad at us, right?
I might be, yeah.
Okay.
And
we're gonna spend solstice here
and there's kind of like, when you say like every day, as Cringus lets out every day, there's some people that are kind of like, hey, like a little bit less enthusiastic than the first time.
We'll find a nearby cave.
But regardless, the two of you are hailed as heroes, the one of you, and you have successfully completed this winter solstice one-shot extravaganza. Crowley, James, thank you very much for playing in this ridiculous way of playing.
I like it.
Oh, Pete, who wins the pie eating contest, Crungus or Cringus?
Make constitution checks.
Ooh.
We share a stomach.
That's true. It's a matter of whose mouth chews faster.
It's just actually, in that
and
case...
That's Cringus.
Yeah, Cringus
Because you
got
know
it.
all them fancy words. I don't talk so much as you.
Who wins the arm wrestling contest, Cringus or Crungus?
I think that's actually gonna probably be Crungus. Because Cringus is a mage. Oh, alright, we'll roll.
You have a chance.
Who wins the trivia contest, Cringus or Crungus?
Cringus. Just,
Um,
well, you know what? Let's
Let's roll the history.
Cringus got really drunk.
The answer is that wizard. And with that, you guys have now truly completed this one-shot extravaganza. Thank you all for playing, and thank you all so very much for tuning in and watching and joining us for this ridiculous thing. I had an absolute blast running this one. This was really fun. As Solstice adventures always are.
This required a lot of, really had to put our heads together.
Yeah! We did.
Won't get fooled again.
We did it, and so I'm gonna outro on this track because I didn't spend enough time on it previously. Wait, let me start it over from the beginning though, and not in the middle of it. Play for me, please play. There we are. Thank you all for joining us this D&D time holiday season. I love you all so very much. Thank you for being a part of our community and joining us and spending time with us here at D&D time in the last year. And I can't wait to do a whole nother year of D&D time and Pete and Jeremy's D&D time and all the stuff that we got planned. My gratitude is an unending well that I can't begin to express here, but I love all of you very much. I wish you the happiest and safest of holidays, finding all of the joy that the season can possibly bring you, and that's pretty much all I got. Crowley or James, do either of you have any announcements?
Hire Marvelo.
Fred's Frank's best hot dogs in Massachusetts. You know what it's all about. Just check out our website, fredsfranks.com. We might still be open into the winter sometimes. You gotta really keep checking our Facebook page, give it a like. Exit 95, or Route 95, exit 40, go around the rotary, we're right at the head of the lake. Fred's Franks. Tell your friends.
And on that note, one last thank you. I love you. Have a great night, everyone, and happy winter solstice.
Happy solstice.